All right, this week on Camera Talk, got Dylan back in action again. We are looking at another great vintage lens. This one from Konica. And what is it? What would you call that? Cool? Well, besides cool. It's the Hexanon 50mm 1.4. Right, it's 1.4. It's also radioactive. Is that dangerous, mister? Well, depends if you're going to eat it or not. So, I know you like to eat everything, but no eating the radioactive lenses, mister. So, let's find out about this, how great it is, why it is such a legend, and we'll get through a number of points together. All right, so grab something to eat or drink, grab a comfy seat, and put on your seatbelts and get ready, because here we go.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Mr. Dylan. All right, we're welcoming back Mr. Dylan from last week to this week. He was a good boy last week, so we're letting him join us again this week. And what are we talking about this week? We're talking about the one and only legendary Konica Hexanon AR 50mm 1.4. 1.4, mister.
No shit, Sherlock!
That's right. They also make a killer 1.7, which is pretty darn sharp, but it doesn't have the character that the 1.4 has. So that's why this is the little more sought after version. Konica, obviously, was not around anymore. They merged with Minolta way back when, and then ended up being brought into the Sony world. So this particular lens here was produced between 1973 and 1970. The Hexanon line itself was 1970 to 1987, but this one was 1973 when they first came up with this. And this particular model is from 1974. As you could tell, there's a 4C at the bottom of the plate here, which you can't see from there, but the C stands for the type, which is it has a green AE, and it has a minimum aperture of f/16. So that classifies it as a C, and then the 4 is the year, which is 1974, because 1984 was the Model E, or sorry, the Model D, which went to f/22. So there were 3 different variations of this. They all had the same optics, but you had the EE, the green EE, you had the AE f/16, and then you had the AE f/22. Now the last model was a little lighter, it was more plasticky, little shorter. You know, it's just a different housed lens collection, but it was the same optics though. Yeah, it's exactly the same. They're all 3 of them are exactly the same. But this one is all metal, except for the grip is rubberized, but or the focus ring, I should say, not the grip. And because it is a Konica mount, I have to use an AR, or Konica AR to NEX to use on my Sony, and it is radioactive. That's right, radioactive. But is that a bad thing? That depends. If you drop it on the ground and it crashes and creates glass dust and powder, and you ingest it or inhale it.
Where have you been all my life?
We just come in with.
Oh, if you don't mind.
It's not okay. Really.
You may be in a bit of trouble, but just keeping it around you or using it or whatever, I mean, you'll get more radioactivity on a 2-hour flight than you will from this thing. I know there's a lot of fear. People are like, oh my God, it's a radioactive lens. Not that big a deal. The problem with radioactive lenses, though, that people do run across, and I did when I, bought Takamars and various other Ricos and other lenses that had thorium elements, is that they tend to, over time, they'll yellow or slightly brown the glass, to which a little shot of you know, light from my IKEA lamp over here, or even my flashlight I've used too, and you leave it for a week or so and it clears right up. I know everybody talks about all this, leaving it in the sun, and they need all these big UV light things. Bullshit. You didn't hear me say that, by the way. You don't need any apparatus like that, and you probably don't want to. Especially here, I am in Vietnam. I don't want to leave this thing in the sun for a week. All the grease and everything in here is going to just evaporate and fog up my lenses and everything else. No, thank you. So again, a little shot of an LED light. Maybe the LED is a UV, you know, graded LED. Who knows? But it worked. It worked for me. It cleared up my lenses without any issue whatsoever. Anywho, Konica is the oldest optics, you know, photographic optics company in Japan, where they were. Obviously, they're not around anymore, but they were the first new kids on the block, and you know, they kind of set the pace. You know, they made you know, headlines by being Japan's you know, premier choice by the government, who created a Japanese Camera Inspection Institute, who used to try to overcome the bad reputation that Japanese products had around the world of, oh, it's made in Japan, it must suck.
They suck. They just suck.
You know, to overcome this, they were very rigorous on their inspections, and so a lot of the camera equipment from the time had a little gold sticker on it that said JCII and said tested, which means that they tested the camera equipment and it passed the rigorous requirements. But what did they use to test the camera equipment? They used Konica lenses. It was a comparative lens that they could get in and look at the details and so forth and so on and go through their inspections. So they used Konica product to inspect everything. And Konica themselves were picky. You know, out of all the glass that would come through their production, they only had a 30% pass rate. They rejected a lot of stuff for the tiniest little impurities. The industry standard was 40 to 50% was a pass rate. So Konica again was kind of the leader in the market, and kind of set the pace for everybody else. What's this known for? Sharpness. Sharpness is its thing. There's rumor that the 1.7, 50mm 1.7 is slightly sharper.
Missed it by that much.
But as far as its bokeh and character goes, this one kind of, if you're going to tally up the value of each one of the two, this one would take it. And it's plenty sharp. I mean, you need to really pixel peep if you're going to find the difference between the 1.7 and the 1.4. Its bokeh is nice. It's pleasing. It's, you know, it's just nice. You know, people want to go on and describe all the different types of bokeh, but it's a nice one, right?
With rich, smooth, buttery bokeh.
Nothing's better than nice. Its closest competitor in the Japanese market at the time was the super multi-coated Takamars, the 50mm 1.4. Same, almost exact same setup as far as the lens elements and groupings and everything goes. So if you like your Takamars, you're going to like your Konicas as well. The Hexanon was the pro line. Hexar was the enthusiast or, you know, consumer lenses, little more economical. But the Hexanons were, these are the ones you want to get. The specs on these things, or on this thing, is 7 elements in 6 groups. What's its close focal distance? Focus distance? 45 centimeters, not bad. Not like 70 centimeters on these things, or rangefinder lenses. So 45 centimeters, pretty good. It's got 6 aperture blades, which again is pretty common for, you know, pretty common for the era. You know, Canon, Nikon, you know, Topcore, all these guys were using 6 aperture blades. These are rounded aperture blades though, so they do have a better, again, a more pleasing bokeh ball. And they're also, I'll show you a close-up picture of it, but if you close down, you'll see the aperture blades fold outwards. They cross each other, coming out like a flower type thing, versus the reverse of most lenses. So I'll show you a close-up of that here. And it's hefty, but not that hefty. It's 290 grams, so it's not that heavy. Again, the model that came after this one was a lot lighter. It's like 70 grams lighter than this one, or maybe 50. But anyway, it's a bit lighter because it's plasticky. So, but this one's all metal construction, as they always like to use that phrase, built like a tank. So it's you know, for something that's coming up on 50 years old, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So anyway, I'm going to get you some pictures of this guy using this lens, and also normally I take pictures of my Canon M50, which is filming this, and I focus in on the nameplate on the 15 to 45 little kit lens that comes with this, and I'll give you a shot. Give you a shot wide open at 1.4 to show what it looks like, and I don't know, let's go f2 or something, just to give you something else to compare to. So I know you don't like me blocking your face when I'm taking pictures, so make sure the audience can see you, because that's why they tuned in, right, mister? Yeah. So anyway, this is wide open. 1, 2, 3. I've got it on continuous shooting, so I've got a couple shots there. So let's move that to F, what did I say, F2? Let's go F2, why not? Just to look at the, again, whatever could be the difference between 1.4 and F2. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that was the standard. That was that. What else can I say? I think that was pretty much it for all the specs and things to talk about with this. Other than that, how about we, oh, besides just pictures of him, let me show you some random pictures using this lens also of other stuff like flowers and trees and rivers and lakes and just stuff outside, just to show you again the diversity of this little piece of gold here. And oh, it's cheap too. It's the other good thing. Yeah, I mean, you can go on eBay or other places and find this for like $100. Yeah, that's what I paid for it. So maybe by now, maybe 150 bucks. I don't know. But check it out. It's worth, definitely, it's worth the price of admission. So so get yourself a copy, and you can get yourself a 1.7 as well. I actually have a 1.7 up there. I'll do that. I'll do that in another video. But the 1.4 is the one everybody wants, yeah? So let's talk about a little plug for our software, right? our photo editing software. What do we like to use? We like to use Luminar. Luminar AI and Luminar Neo. Yeah, that's right. Luminar AI is great. It came out first. You know, it's all sliders and whatnot, very easy to use. The Luminar Neo is replacing Luminar 4. Luminar Neo kind of incorporates the AI stuff into it as well and has some cool new features like power line removal, dust and spot removal, changing the lighting in the scene if it's over there and you want the lighting over there. Whoo! Just a little switch of the slider and off it goes. You can move it around the room. So it's kind of cool, right? Anything that can speed up work for me is great because I don't have a lot of time on my hands. Oh, I'm not blaming you, really. I'm not blaming you for hijacking my time.
What you talking about, doctor?
But anyway, anything that can speed up my workflow, the better. So, and why else would you buy it? It's very economical. You know, it's $60, $70, maybe $80. I don't know, they're considering raising the price because it's so cheap. But it's yours for life. You buy it, it's yours for life. They upgrade as they go. If they get new improvements or something, they send them for free. But anyway, it's yours for life. You put it on your computer and that's it. No subscriptions, no blah, blah, blah. It's yours. And if you want a $10 savings, how do they get a $10 savings? Click below. Click below and there's a link down in the description so you can get a $10 savings. So if it's 50 bucks, it's 40 bucks. If it's 70 bucks, it's 60 bucks. Well, you could do the math, right?
I hate math.
Anyway, what else I want to say? Oh, do you want them to subscribe? Would you like, if they're not subscribed already, would you like them to subscribe? Subscribe. Yeah. And how about you? You want to do one? Huh? Subscribe. That's right. And how about double finger? Want to do a double finger one? Subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Mr. Dillon. And how about, this is brought to you by Modesty Photography, which we're all about saving you money, little tips and tricks about photography, you know, some vintage lenses, cameras, all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, we talk about just about everything, don't we? Except cookies. He always wants to talk about cookies. So anyway, and thumbs up. Don't forget the thumbs up, right? Thumbs up for the thumbs up girls. And what else? Boy, there's always so much more to talk about. How about they stay safe? Should we wish them well? Stay safe out there. You know, it's a COVID world we're living in. Watch out for the Omicron. What's next? Who knows what it's going to mutate into next, right? But stay safe out there. You know, we want you to come back for more, right? Because you belong here. That's right. And where do they belong? What's the name of this show, mister? It's Camera Talk with Dr. Scott. Yeah. So, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And Dylan thanks you from the bottom of his heart. Of course, he just wants you to send in cookies, but thanks for dropping by. All right, so you're gonna say bye-bye? Say bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam.